A lot of people have been saying that 2016 has been a very bad year, and I'm one of those people. It has not been the greatest year, and having one thing happen after another, and it's hard to just take a breath. Back in May, my mom texted me pictures of her sitting in the garden with her cat, and it looked like she was having a very lovely time. And then an hour later, I got a text from my brother saying that my mom had had a stroke. And it happened so fast. That's how they happen, I guess, like out of nowhere. Predict a stroke? My God. Now, the doctor showed us pictures of her brain during her stroke. Now, if editing me can figure out how to do that, I'll put a picture up here of a brain during stroke. And if I can, I'll put a picture up here of a brain after it's been cleared. What happens is there is a blood clot in the brain, so what they did was made an incision in her neck and went up a vein and into her brain. And she had the stroke on the right side of her brain, and they put a little machine up in there and which pulled out the clot, and she was given blood thinners to help get rid of the rest of the clot. She did go unresponsive at one time because of the blood thinners not being correct, but then she started to do her recovery. She was initially taken to University Hospital, which is a very good hospital for brain injuries. It's one of the top in Canada, and I think she was very lucky because there were some people in there that had a big C scar on their head and were a lot worse off than my mom. Now, my mom couldn't speak at first. I'm getting sweaty talking about this. I don't want it to be, I'm getting off the topic here. I don't want it to be a sad, somber video. I want this to be explaining to family and friends what happened to my mom so that they get the information and everything, so that everybody knows what she went through and how she's doing now. I don't want it to be sad or by any means like depressing, because it could have been a lot worse. At first she did have a little droop on the side of her face, but she did regain the strength, and she doesn't have how some people have half of their face or body limp, but she does have a weak arm still. After recovering at University Hospital and a little scare with pneumonia, and she was released to Parkwood Hospital, which is a more long-term facility for rehabilitation and caring, and it was a much more homey kind of environment for her to be in. Not the same as home, obviously. And that's where she would start her rehabilitation. And this is where she would do speech therapy and physical therapy to get her fine motor skills back, like screwing on screws and stuff like that. So she had her stroke in May. By July she was able to come home because her house is close to the hospital where she was doing rehabilitation. She was able to do outpatient care that way, but had to stop because infections with her lowered immune system after having a stroke. She would get pneumonia. And then, of course, the medication from that would give her C. difficile infection in her stomach, which is an intestinal infection. She hasn't really been able to go to her therapy that way because she's still trying to regain her strength back. She's something better than what it is. I can't say back to normal because I don't know if that will be the case with her. She does have aphasia, which is the loss of words in your vocabulary and your memory, and how to explain things and talk about things, and a little bit of memory is affected, so she isn't quite the same. I think with the breathing tube, it affected her vocal cords because her voice is so much softer now. And right now she is still on the recovery of being sick, and I'm hoping that her strength will grow, and she will continue to get better. The one thing I did notice, and I don't know if this is the same in all stroke victims, that the look in her eyes changed. Now, I know that people, when they go through different experiences, they'll look like if you go to war or you've had a traumatic experience, the look in your eyes will change. But this was different. It was, my mom always had a very assured look in her face. She was very blunt, very confident look, almost to a stern look, focused look in her eyes before her stroke. And then I noticed after her stroke that the look in her eyes became drawn back, like almost childlike, in where it looked like she was curious about everything, and you could see that the brain was, the gears were going, and she wanted to communicate, but more of a curious look on her face, more of innocence and childlike look. Now that's the part that's hard for me, because all through my life and growing up, for assurance, that's what I would look to. If I were afraid, I could look to my mom's eyes and be comforted in the fact that she knew what was going on and she knew what to do, and that I would be taken care of and safe. And I guess that look has changed, and I will have to get used to this new one. But that is why I haven't made any videos lately. I haven't felt like it. It's very hard to make videos when you are sad or upset, and it's to make, you don't want to watch people sad, right? So you got to be happy in your videos, and so that's why I didn't make any, because I wasn't happy at the time. And that's just the first part. of where I've been. I will make another video soon about the other half of where I've been. But I don't want to make this video too long because then you'll get bored. It's probably really long right now. But where that video will be about my significant other, my partner, my boyfriend. He got Stevens-Johnson syndrome, and it is a very rare disorder, disease, and I will talk about that in my next video. But I wanted to start off and share the first part of where I've been, and also to have friends and family updated on my mom's status. So there you go, and I guess that's it. Okie dokie. Bye.